Welcome back to Pasadena. Our Rose Bowl special continues. It has been a half century since Michigan last won college football's national championship, and there are some uncanny similarities between that 47 team and this 97 team, even though people know they won it in 48 on New Year's Day, and tomorrow they could win it New Year's Day in 48. That suggests it could happen all again. Fritz Chrysler won his first outright Big Ten championship that season. Lloyd Carr equaled that this year. During both seasons, Minnesota was the opponent in a homecoming victory. The last road game for both teams was at Wisconsin, both won by the Wolverines. They ended the season with a home win against Ohio State in 47. Same story this year in Ann Arbor. The star player on that 47 team was Bob Chappius. He finished second for the Heisman that year. Charles Woodson won the Heisman earlier this month. Both teams ended the season in the Rose Bowl against an opponent they had never faced in that game. In 47, anyone? It was Southern California. Tomorrow, Washington State. And in 47, the Wolverines finished the season as national champs. As for this year, well, that's still to be determined. Ironically, 5 years ago, the 47 team planned a reunion in Pasadena to celebrate their golden anniversary. At the time, they had no idea who would be playing in the game. Fred Heumann joins us live from Citrus College. As you might expect, the former players are happy to share their secrets for success with this year's Michigan team. Fred, they were a good bunch, weren't they?
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Bernie, I was happy to listen to them. I could have done this, for a couple of days because the stories are tremendous. And actually, as you alluded to, they started this idea of a 5-year reunion every 5 years since the championship. So they've had 9 of them. And then, as you mentioned, 5 years ago, they decided that reunion number 10 was going to be for the big celebration.
The 1947 Wolverines ran roughshod through their schedule en route to the 48 Rose Bowl victory and a national championship. It was a team led by their spiritual leader, tailback Bob Chappius.
We liked one another. We enjoyed one another. We played well together. We felt that if we didn't play well as an individual, we would be leaving all of these great people down, and we didn't want to do that, and we didn't do it.
That 47 team was a close-knit bunch. Their coach, Fritz Chrysler, didn't mingle much with the players until the train ride home from the 49-0 victory over USC in the Rose Bowl, when Chrysler loosened up.
Halfway through this evening, Fritz Chrysler poked his head in the door and he says, you mind if I join you? And Joe Sobolewski said, no, you can join as long as you can tell a story as good as the last one and bring a bottle of booze. And so he says, well, I guess I qualify on both counts.
Joe Sobolewski remembers the time he overslept and nearly missed the train for a game. He got to the game late, blocked a punt to set up the winning touchdown, so all was forgotten.
And I remember when he showed the films after that, Monday or whatever it was, he says, Sobolewski, that's the way he used to talk. He says, next week you can sleep till noon,
At the 97 team's football busk back on December 1st, the 47 team was there reunited again. But this reunion stuff is old hat to these guys. At the last one of these gatherings, they decided to have a 50-year reunion at this year's Rose Bowl, never dreaming the 97 Michigan team would be there too.
It really is wonderful. It's awfully nice that Michigan brought their team to celebrate our reunion. Isn't that nice?
Bill, how are you?
I haven't seen him for a while. I haven't seen you for a long time.
I'll make a record there.
And I haven't seen you for a long time.
Lloyd Carr invited the 47 team to his own team's luncheon yesterday, and old stories were exchanged again.
50 years later, do the passes become a little longer and the runs a little more spectacular?
Yeah, what is the saying? The older we get, the better we were.
Last night, the team gathered once more at their 50-year reunion banquet and watched old film clips of their magical season.
It was a great time. I'll tell you something. I wouldn't give it up for $1 million in those days, which would be like $100 million today, I think. It was just super.
50 years can separate people, but you can't really separate tradition.
You surely can't, and of course that's kind of like that's what we rely on at Michigan, is that tradition and the fellowship and the loyalty and all those things. It sounds a little corny, but it is so true.
Believe me, we'll be pulling for them to win, and they win the Rose Bowl game, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when we win the Rose Bowl game, we'll be national champions again. Again.
That's Al Wistert, and that's the 47 team. I'll tell you, Bernie and Carmen, one similarity that probably won't follow true to form from the 97 team to the 47 team After that 47 season and 48 Rose Bowl that they won over USC 49-0, Fritz Chrysler then resigned. He became the athletic director, turned over the reins to Benny Oosterbaan. I don't think Lloyd Carr is about to resign, and I don't think Tom Gossis is in any trouble as athletic director. So if Michigan wins tomorrow, I don't think that scenario or that comparison will hold true to form. Back to you guys at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you didn't quite go out on a limb there or anything, Fred.
That's my big prediction of the week.
We'll see you in a little while.